All right, guys, we are in week 2 of Stream Team League. If you missed week 1, we are here to recap that for you as well as provide our predictions with week 2. I'm here with Andy. How you doing today?
Doing well, thanks, Stack. Last week was so much fun, and I can't wait for week 2.
I know, and that's why we're just going to get right into it. As we play this recap, I'm going to show you guys highlights from the previous one, but we're actually just going to go over the scores of the previous week as we go over predictions in these matchups.
We're going to start off the preview today with Disterbia versus Gingybert, representing Team Metro versus Team Mag. Those are the two teams that won last week. So one team has a chance to go 2-0 and greatly solidify their chances for making the championship round. Disterbia and Gingybert both did really well last week. I mean, their teams won. They also were a big help in both of those. Disterbia kind of surprised us, I think, at least surprised a lot of us. Maybe Disterbia didn't surprise his team or himself, but took out Lil Nani 3-1. We were looking at that matchup. Lil Nani, Ultra Gold, I think Honda, looks to be, doesn't have a lot of ranked games under his belt. So to me, that was pretty impressive. Just that Honda playstyle we thought would cause issues for Disterbia. I mean, it was not like a runaway, but Disterbia not having too much trouble with any of that Honda stuff. So that was a surprise. Then we had Gingybert going against GorillaTap. We thought that would be in his favor because he plays really kind of tightly, gets a lot of conversion damage off of his touches. Going against GorillaTap, who kind of plays more with the heart, isn't as optimal, doesn't get as much out of his touches. That went kind of how we thought. We actually maybe a little bit more so in Gingybert's favor than we thought. So we got two kind of hot players going against each other in this one.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning that Gingybert was able to take it over GorillaTap, but Gingybert was actually, there was a lot of holes in his game where if Gingybert was ready, he would have been able to make it, or I'm sorry, if GorillaTap was a little bit more focused, he would have been able to capitalize. There's a lot of misconfirms, a lot of just unsafe moves thrown out there. So Gingybert did get the 3-0 and had a good performance, but there was space for there was weaknesses in there that Disterbia might be able to take advantage of. And it's actually going to go the other way around too, because Disterbia as well was doing a lot of unsafe stuff and just really wasn't getting punished for it. So this is really going to be a matter of like who has labbed the punishes and who's going to be able to get the conversions off of one another.
Yeah, you're probably right. Who can clean up their game and patch those holes? I think Gingybert has.
Oh, Stone! No!
No, and he's gonna get comboed. He may have even said it after the match. I don't quite remember, but he thought that he could out GorillaTap. And I think he said it afterward because he didn't tip his hand before, because the way he played, he did a lot of wild stuff that we did not expect. And I think he really was trying to out GorillaTap, and he did. Disterbia has a lot of that wildness in him. And I think just the same as last week, I think Gingybert can probably out Disterbia while keeping his same tightness of play, still with his fairly optimal play, getting a lot of damage off of his touches. I think this is going to be Gingybert. I think it's going to be closer. I think it's going to be 3-2. I don't think he's going to run away quite like he did against GorillaTap, but I have his 3-2 Gingybert.
Really? I got a 3-2 Disterbia.
All right.
Yeah, because I feel like they're both going to be level, but I think Disturbia's gameplay is going to annoy Gingybert. I think he's going to get hit by an EX into EX, and then an EX into throw, and then he's just going to be like, oh, God, this is so stupid. And then I don't know if he's going to be able to, it really comes down to if he's going to punish the V skills as well, because Disterbia just lets those things go, but they're weirdly spaced. So I think he's going to question himself, like, can I punish that? So I think that's what it's going to come down to, and I think maybe Gingybert will just be a second too late, and Disturbia's going to run away with it 3-2.
Okay, I can see that. I think it's going to be close either way. That's valid, though, for sure.
Yeah, and so, I mean, with that being said, we're going to move to the next one with Team Metro versus Team Max. It'd be Step 4 versus Surmy. Now, if you remember, Step 4 was looking clean. The other undefeated player on the roster, other than Gingybert, was Step 4 3-0 over Bane.
Yes, and Step 4 was a big surprise last week. I had Bane winning, I think, 3-1. That was my prediction. Big surprise, Step 4. He didn't have trouble with the gill stuff. I thought he showed a different level of his gameplay than we saw before. And going to get Surmy, so this is another matchup of hot players, as a lot of these are. These are the two teams that won. Going to get Surmy, who also surprised us. Surmy taking out Chaos Theory, which we did not expect. I had Chaos Theory as an advantage in that one. I personally, I gave my prediction first last time, but I think it might be a little bit of advantage for Step 4.
I got it the same way. I actually have it 3-1 in Step 4's favor, and I only say that because I feel like some of Surmy's success was again based on a little bit of Chaos Theory's lack of preparation for the matchup, and I don't think that Step 4 is going to make that same mistake. I think he's going to be a little bit more prepped up for it. I think Surmy's going to do one too many EX uppers and get beat up, and you know, Step 4's Clutch Medium Kit confirms we're looking really good last week. If they look really good this week, it might even be a 3-0, but I have it for 3-1 in favor of Step.
Okay, yeah, I could see that. I have it as 3-2. I'm giving Surmy a little bit more credit, I guess. But I think things like the EX uppers and all that might do a lot of work potentially. I think Step 4 is going to be pushing a lot more buttons than Chaos Theory was, and of course that's what those EX uppers beat. But I still think advantage Step 4. I do agree with you.
All right, so far, well, I guess last time we were right on the same page as far as predictions go, but the first one we were off, but still relatively close set to this at this point, or close exhibition rather. As we move on to Division 3 with MissPatriciaa versus Big Tex. Again, the winning teams. So it's worth mentioning that Team Mags was 17-5 this whole exhibition, while Metro was 13-10. So whereas Mags' team pretty much dominated, Metro's team did just enough to beat the other team. That being said, Patty lost her match in a match that we had her winning, both of us, I believe.
We did.
And also, I think we had Tex losing against Stone. So both our predictions wrong in this one. That being said, I still think Patty's going to do well, but I actually had this marked down as 3-2 Tex, and that's only because I saw a little weakness in Patty's game plan last week. She started really confident, won her first game, and then this started slowly falling apart. I don't know if it has to do with the endurance of diamond rank play, or I'm not sure what it is, but she started to slowly fall apart in the corner, and that same thing might happen with Urian.
Yeah, it's true. That might. I think that's valid. I have it as 3-1 in favor of Tex. I guess I kind of am thinking more generally about how Patty, I think, didn't quite meet our expectations against OMPSpartan, and Big Tex did better than we thought he would against Stone. So I'm kind of feeling the more like hot versus not a little bit more. I'm favoring that a bit more, but still, in general, I agree with you there on Tex having a slight advantage at least.
Yeah, and this is one that could go either way, only because if you remember, Stone even said a lot of Tex's success was based off how well he was able to implement the Aegis. Now, he still had to implement it. That raw activate to beat the fireball, stuff like that's really good. But if Patty's able to kind of navigate that, as well as use her own V-Trigger to beat his options, it could go the other way around.
That's true. She might have some answers that are more specific to Urian. That's true.
Right. So at this point, we still have it pretty close. Again, we have, I think, only a 1-point differential in our predictions. And I think at this point, we have a slight edge towards Metro's team. Yours might be tied, actually. But it's in the ballpark still, nonetheless.
Yep.
Moving on to what might be one of the easier to predict matches in Chobo versus Miso. Miso put on a fucking clinic last time. Won 3-1, but earned 5 points doing it.
That was something else. That's got to be one of the top performances. Miso might have, at this point, the top 2 performances in Stream Team Battle out of like the top 5. I mean, she put on a show in, I forget which one it was. I don't forget if it was STV 50, but she ran some poor soul off the court. And then last week put on such a show against Glitter. The Glitter actually did a lot of good things against her. It wasn't a super runaway, but like just the flair and style and the feel of it was that, yeah, she just absolutely killed it. And Chobo, I think we thought she'd do a little bit better against that masher, and that was still 3-2, so it wasn't exactly a runaway. But or no, you know what? That's my prediction from last week. I'm sorry.
Oh, I think that was a 3-1.
3-1. Okay, yeah. So she definitely kind of underperformed against that masher. So in another hot or not, I guess I still like Chobo. I have it as 3-2. Definite advantage Miso. In my opinion, not all 3-2 predictions are the same because some of our 3-2s are just because I have to pick someone.
Right.
This one I think it's 3-2, but it for sure advantage Miso.
Oh yeah, I have this 3-0 for Miso. Almost easy. Unless Chobo really turns around. I saw no real matchup awareness in the Alex matchup, and I don't see how Zeku could be any different unless she really prepared. I can't see this going the other way. I know Miso's gonna show up prepared. They played before. Chobo was able to get the initial lead, but then Miso, once she figured out the matchup, it just went totally downhill for Chobo. So I have it 3-0 Miso, and Chobo, I want to be surprised, but it's just at the rate it's going, I can't see Miso losing a game.
Yeah, that's valid. I'm probably off of my prediction. We'll see though. That was just my gut feeling. But you're probably
I would like to see it. I would like to see it.
Yeah.
So moving on from there, that gives probably Mag's team a slight edge right there, which I had a feeling Miso and Mags were going to be like the pivotal moments for these exhibitions. They're two of the strongest players on the roster on the same team, and so even if their initial players get kind of bopped a little bit, they can still come back. At the end here, we have Metro M versus Mags. Mags, as we had mentioned before, just best player on the roster. Won 5-1 against Cody Mayer, and even the one was a squeak. Like he squeaked by. And Metro M blew up Espadah. It was 5, I think 2. But it really felt like Metro had control the whole time. He had lost a round to a perfect, and it just didn't go his way. But Metro is confident in this one. I actually have this 5-3 in favor of Mags, which makes this a really interesting exhibition. Really close.
It is very close. I actually have it as 5-4. I also think it's going to be very close. I was so impressed by Metro able to handle Espadah. Now, big difference between that and this is that Mags has been playing Birdie since the beginning, I think. Espadah's Luke is not the most developed Luke. It's still very good,
right?
But he's only been playing him. Luke hasn't even been out that long, so that could be a big difference. But gosh, the preparedness of Metro going against that, even though it was not the most developed play of Luke. I mean, yeah, again because he's new. I was just so impressed, and I think he'll have answers for Mag, and I don't think he'll win, but I think he's going to have a lot of answers because we just didn't expect that last week. And he showed us something really good, so I'm thinking close, although advantage Mag still.
So do you have the whole team written out? I have this 17-8. Is that true?
Oh wow! So I actually have it 16-12. I mean, but again, the couple of points we had different between each other do make a big difference. But I have it 16-12 Team Mag.
Oh, you have it 16-12 Team Mag. I actually have it the other way. I have it for Team Metro.
Oh really?
No, that's because I see what I got going on here. I wrote forget it. Yeah. I have the winner always on the right, and it just happens to be written out like that. So.
Oh, gotcha.
I wish I had written that out better. But anyway, it's gonna be a real close one nonetheless. That's gonna be a really close exhibition.
Oh, I think it's gonna be close. Yeah, even though I have him winning by 4. A game or two here or there, here and there makes a world of difference, especially in this Stream Team League format.
Yeah, sure. If Step 4 3-0 Surmy, and then Gingybert 3-0 Disterbia, who knows what could happen? It could be weird. But we're moving on to the losers bracket of Team Espadah versus Team Cody Mayer. Now Nani versus GorillaTap. Now GorillaTap had a hard time. He got 3-0'd, couldn't get anything going, didn't have the conversions. Lil Nani 3-2 or 2-3 rather. And I don't know how GorillaTap's gonna handle Honda.
I don't either, but I think he'll do better than last week. He underperformed so much last week, both in our eyes and I'm sure his own. He took it really hard. He's been grinding all week. He's streamed a little bit. I know he's been grinding with Rich and Stone at least to try to improve. I think he's going to have something. This is kind of a gut pick for me. I'm going with GorillaTap. I'm going GorillaTap.
Wow.
3-2. I think the wildness I think he'll be able to harness it correctly. I think he's going to bring something a lot better than last week. And Lil Nani, I didn't see as much as I thought I would from Lil Nani. I mean, I really thought that the Honda, the play style, being at that rank, so hard to deal with, didn't really materialize. So part of it is kind of my own bias of not having my prediction really fulfilled at all last week.
Right.
And I like the heart of GorillaTap. I know him a little bit. I chat with him all the time. Go to his stream. I think he's going to bring us something. I'm going 3-2, even though that seemingly probably defies data.
Well, as I said beforehand, I mean, we had our expectations kind of ruined from the data last time, and very few matches went with the way we thought, so totally fair. I have it 3-0 Nani. I think Nani's gonna teabag. It's gonna piss GorillaTap off and get him in his emotions, and he's gonna fall apart. And unfortunately, I have no reason to think otherwise at this point. I would love to see GorillaTap put some points on the board, but it's just hard to say because Espadah's team is kind of the trolley team at this point. There was multiple baggage. They got Alex on there. They're having a good time, and I just think it's gonna just overwhelm GorillaTap, unfortunately.
It is kind of the troll team teabag. I think OMPSpartan was getting in on it as well.
Yeah.
So
how do you teabag Patty? Jesus, that takes a different animal. So you got this. What did you say for GorillaTap? 3-2.
I said 3-2.
Okay. So I got 3-0 Nani. You got 3-2 GorillaTap. That should be an interesting one. We're gonna move to Division 4 with Bane versus Chaos Theory. Bane unable to put one on the board last time, and Chaos Theory went 3-1 or 1-3 against Surmy. This is the one I was just saying beforehand is really hard for me to even make a prediction on. I have it as 3-2 Bane for no reason in particular.
I can see that. I personally have it as 3-2 in favor of Chaos Theory.
Right.
I think this is an interesting one because it's two players looking for redemption. They both underperformed last week, probably by most people's rubrics. I'm kind of going here with what I know versus what I don't know instead. Chaos Theory, we know what he can do. We've seen him do so much better in past Stream Team leagues, Stream Team Battle. And Bane, all we have really, and I've watched a few replays on CFN, but we really haven't seen what he's capable of in that competitive tournament setting. If it's something greater than last week, we just don't know it. I think Chaos Theory is going to be able to harness his experience from past Stream Team Battle events and do better than he did last week, and so I have him as 3-2.
Yeah, I mean, how well does he know Gil? I think Bane probably knows Balrog a little bit better than he knows Gil. That's my only thought. I think it's a character thing more than it is a player thing at that point.
Wouldn't surprise me, yeah.
But well, I mean, we'll see. I'm very interested in this one. I got my eye on this one. I want Chaos Theory. Chaos Theory's been around forever. All of Cody Mayer's team has been in Stream Team Battle forever, so there's a little place in our hearts for these guys. And Bane is kind of like the outsider coming in. But either way, I want to see a throwdown on that one. Up next, Division 3, we got OMPSpartan versus Stone. We saw some nasty tech from Spartan, just doing some things. Like, I never saw those back recovery mix-ups or those things you do every now and then to get things rolling. But it really gave them an early, early advantage. I could give him like an early momentum. As soon as that worked and just robbed Patty of a round, it was probably like a little swing right there where it's like, oh Jesus, this guy's gonna make me work for this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right. I think we saw some really cool stuff from OMPSpartan. I have this one as 3-2 OMPSpartan. I think it's a little bit of a hot versus not. I mean, Stone, I think we expected probably a little bit more from Stone last week. And OMPSpartan looked really good. I mean, the confidence, the teabagging. I think also Team Espadah, I think they kind of have their own kind of mental advantage. Like, they have the swagger. They're getting in people's heads, I think. And so I think all that, I do think it's going to be close. But having to pick one, I'm going with OMPSpartan 3-2.
Yeah, you're right. They do have that. They were like laughing at how you like that, buddy, sort of thing.
They were partying.
Right, but at the same time, they lost. So maybe that took the wind out of their sails a little bit. Like, oh, okay, this is not going to be. Who knows? But they actually were losing when they were doing that too. So who knows?
True.
That being said, so Stone went in with the game plan is if I could navigate Urian's Aegis, I got this. So he went in there with the game plan of avoiding Aegis and was unable to do it anyway. The game plan was not to get killed by Aegis. He got killed by Aegis, which means he might not be able to stick to his game plan very well. That being said, Kage does not have as strong of a V-trigger as Urian does. So I have this as 3-1 for Stone, simply because I think he's going to be able to out Nuchi Wuchi Spartan, and I don't think the V-trigger is going to be enough to gain it back. So I have it 3-1 Stone.
I could see that. That's definitely a more analytical, data-driven approach.
But Spartan looked good last time too, and he was forward fierce as well on point. So, and Stone kind of, I don't want to say he fell apart because it was 3-2, it was close games. But to get hit by the Aegis when you told people beforehand that's all he's got, I'm gonna beat him because I got that, and still lose to that, it's rough. So we're moving on to a very interesting one. This one can go either way, super hard. We got Dat Masher versus Glitter. Masher able to prevail over Chobo. Glitter on the receiving end of that Miso beatdown we were talking about before. It was fast paced. We were talking about Glitter's psychology being a little bit of an issue there, and it definitely did show that there was a lot of she was moving in a lot and getting hit a lot, moving in just constantly. But Masher goes hard, and I don't think Glitter's going to be as worried about it. I think she is a lot more comfortable in the Alex matchup than she is the Zeku matchup. So for this, I actually have it 3-2 Glitter, despite that.
You know, very interesting. I also have it as 3-2 Glitter. I thought we might differ on this one, but I guess not. I think those are valid points. I think Glitter is not going to have as hard a time. I think mentally Alex is easier to play against than Honda. Also, if you got the narrative of Miso putting a beat down on Glitter, I think is largely driven by the perfects, which in Stream Team League, of course, are huge. But if you look at the rounds and just the games, Glitter was actually a missed sweet punish away from it being 3-2 and forcing a game 5. Ooh. It was actually closer than you think. If you look at the very last round, Miso slides with young Zeku into Glitter.
Oh, yeah.
She tries to punish, I'm sure accidentally, with the EX like overhead spin kick, which didn't work, and then Miso punished right back for the round win. So that was literally a punish away from being 3-2. So Glitter, I think, did better than we thought. Did better against Misokrattz than the narrative is saying. And plus, I mean, I still have the same opinion that I did last week of Glitter, in her competitive play, being so battle hardened, playing ranked, playing competitively. I think she'll rebound, and I think 3-2 Glitter.
This will be a fun one. I'm looking forward to
Definitely.
this.
Yeah.
So that takes us to the last one. Again, another close exhibition. It's going to be closed out with Espadah versus Cody Mayer again. Interesting. Cody Mayer lost last week against Mags, but most people would. It was 5-1, and he really worked for that one game. Espadah, on the other hand, he got outplayed by someone that I don't think is far outside of his skill range. He just got outplayed. Mags is on a different level, and Cody Mayer went in there knowing that and knew that his team was going to have to do a lot of work. So we're not as surprised as that one, but I am surprised that Espadah was unable to regain his momentum, and I even saw some pressure in his mental breaks in his play a little bit, where he's doing things I don't normally see him do, like multiple runs into the cartwheels and stuff like that. I'm like, what is this guy doing? He's losing his game plan here. So actually, I don't know how you have this, but I have this 5-3 Cody Mayer.
Man, the second one in a row. This is a prediction that I thought we'd differ on. I also have it as 5-3 in favor of Cody Mayer. And I agree with everything you said. Espadah did some things last week we didn't expect, kind of in a negative way. Also, and I agree with talking about Rich going against Mag. Even though he did lose 5-1, you could tell that he had some preparedness. He had some ideas. Just not much was working out. But like you said, things rarely do against Mag. Hardly anyone can get anything over on that guy. And I think the mentality for Rich is probably the same. He's thinking, okay, I've done some homework and I've got some answers for Luke and probably for Espadah individually potentially. So I think we're going to see Rich rebound and do a lot better than last week, because I don't think he needs to play like necessarily so much above last week, but he's going to get somebody that's not as close to being a professional Street Fighter player as Mag. He's going to against someone that I think is a better personal matchup, and again, he's going to do his homework. Right.
Yep, that's all true. And Espadah, I heard him say he's actually really confident in the Cody matchup, but he also said he's very confident in the Vega matchup. And so I'm interested to see how confident he actually is. Cody Mayer brings the heat, but I do think it clashes a little bit better for Espadah. Vega is an interesting character. Cody, I think he might be able to have a little bit more of a concrete game plan. It's gonna be a little bit more similar neutral approach.
Yes.
So we'll see about that. This is a big one, guys, because whoever loses this one is done. They'll play in the next week, but there's no way they can make it to the final. So this is a pivotal exhibition, and by our score, it's gonna be a close one.
Yes. Yes, my final tally, I have it as 16-12 in favor of Team Cody.
Team Cody Mayer, that would be something.
So that's it, guys. Next week, Team Metro, Team Mag, winner moves on. Espadah, Cody Mayer, loser likely eliminated. Monday night, twitch.tv/StackBradford. We'll see you there.